Well, I was just informed of a delivery I just received. This is the Inmotion Climber e-scooter, dual motor scooter, and they obviously think it's pretty torquey because it's designed for uphill use. Their promo photo on their website shows like some guy like going up a hill or something. We'll see if it's any good. We'll see how powerful it actually is, and its top speed, its full range, all that good stuff. Let's get this thing out of the box. This is a very neat and tidy box. I like what I'm seeing. Cool box, you got the charger. You even have some inner tubes for your tires. That's actually cool. I've never seen that before. I mean, hopefully that's cool. Hopefully it's not me having to install these right now. And they came with backups. I haven't seen this. That's pretty cool. Take some styrofoam out. That's freaking sweet. Look at this thing. Yeah, there's a kickstand right here. Oh, freaking mosquitoes everywhere. Good gracious. This whole process so far has literally taken as long as it has taken you to watch this video. Super easy. And now for the 4 handlebar screws. Freaking mosquitoes. They don't need to get super tight. They got thread locker on them, and all it's got to do is keep those holes aligned. All right, that'll do it. Let's go ahead and get this screen protector off. Ooh, yeah, look at that. Easy money. Just has one power button, turns it on. All right, let's get the grip covers taken off. Don't know if I've ever seen grip covers on any scooter, but hope I see them on everything else from now on. Perfectly clean. Look at that. Money, cash money. Got our turn signals. Very nice. And then I think it just turns itself off after like a few blinks. Yep, there you go. Before we go too far, I want to just get this out of the way. They send me these scooters, but I just show you guys the specs and just like the actual real life performance I get out of it. Let you guys make the decision yourself. I'm not here to like overhype stuff. I want to give you guys a comprehensive experience with this thing before you would buy one. But at the same time, I just want to get down and dirty, get an actual top speed on this thing and how far it's going to take you on one charge. So anyway, that's out of the air. Let's take a look at this thing. So down here is the front hub motor. And back here is the rear hub motor. Let's go over software. This is a screen I've seen several different times. One click is headlight on and off. And there is a D right there. I know there's a way to do it in sport mode. It is a wireless design, so all the wires go through the frame up to the handlebars, which is cool. Also, Inmotion is like a name brand in the space. They've been around for a long time, so if you need support or something in the future, if you need parts or something, I'm sure they could help, but I can't really vouch for their actual customer service. I just know they've been around for a long time and seem to have good reviews from what I'm seeing. So it is disc driven in the back, and I'm sure there is electronic braking as well with regen. I'm excited to see how that feels. Got your turn signal controls here, a bell up here, and then cable driven brakes. And then on this side, obviously, here is your throttle as well. I'm not gonna push it just yet. And of course, this is a folding e-scooter, so I'll do that for you real quick. Just fold it down like that, and then there is a little latch right there that clicks right in, and there you go. You got your Inmotion Climber in your hands, in the back of your car, wherever you want to take it. And then to undo it, reverse process, just flip it up and click it in, and there you go. Easy enough. See how bright the headlight is? No, not bad. So tonight I'm gonna get this thing on a charger, and then when the battery is full, tomorrow morning, we'll get this thing on a top speed test, and then a full range test right after that. So anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching tonight, guys. I'll catch you tomorrow. To activate the full capability of the scooter, I linked it to the app, which was pretty easy to do. And I went ahead and set all the settings to their max performance. There's a good amount of customization in the app, nothing crazy, and really the standard performance settings that most e-scooters have, but it's really easy to use, and it had settings for everything I wanted to change, so no complaints.
Well, I was indeed correct when I assumed you needed the app to connect here before this would actually activate and be rideable. And I turned on 2 functions. First, the 0 start, so you don't have to like actually kick off before it starts working. And also the cruise control. So if you hold this down for like 5 seconds, it should turn on cruise control. So anyway, let's see how fast and torquey this thing actually is. I'm ready to be impressed. Here we go, full throttle. Okay, obviously I've ridden faster scooters, but it's not bad. not bad. It's pretty quick. I definitely won't say it's slow. And it definitely has regen braking. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. It's definitely not slow. And decently comfortable. Nothing really to complain about on this flat surface here. And it is a full-size scooter. I'm 6'3", and it fits me just fine. It's definitely a big enough scooter, that's for sure. Looks like we're topping out around 22-ish miles per hour. But we'll get an actual reading of that in just a second. First impression's not bad at all. Definitely kind of just a fun around the city type scooter. A little faster than your average commuter scooter, but nothing too crazy or dangerous, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, a verified cruise control is definitely on. So I'm glad it has that function because it comes in handy, honestly, if you're commuting somewhere. And the setting for a speed limiter was not turned on, so I'm assuming this is about as fast as it's going to get. Maybe the motors are limited by RPM at this point. You know, built for torque, kind of geared for torque instead of like a top speed. But we'll take a look. We'll see what we get. All right, I'll pull over right in these sketchy... Indeed, we are tracking, so let's get it done. Yeah, not bad acceleration. That'll get you out of a sticky spot if you need to. Is that Miata back? Hold up. Dude gave this thing a fresh paint job. No freaking way. And nice freaking new rims matched with the paint job. Wow. We'll consider part trade. Ooh, dude wants $6,800 for it now. That was an expensive paint job. Wow. He was asking $2,500 for it. It's like 3 times the price now for a high mileage automatic Mazda. How about that? Pass. I was like 95% sure that he must have just sold it to somebody. But no one's buying it. So he gave it a fresh paint job and still no one's buying it. All right, we already got 21.8 miles per hour. Let's see if we can beat it. It picks up pretty quick. I will try to find a hill where we can do like a from stop pull up the hill and see how torquey it actually is. But there's not a whole lot of hills around this area in the city. So, you know, as usual, my tests are full throttle at, you know, just on mostly flat surfaces. There's a couple hills here and there. So we'll try to get a test, but chances are this is about as good as we're going to get. 22 miles per hour is what it says. I sure do love regen braking. On scooters, it's so nice and convenient. And it extends your battery range, so that's always nice. Yeah, 21.8 miles per hour. I'll just call it 22. It's about 22. So the speedometer is accurate enough where we can actually rely on the like odometer in the app for our range test. So there you go. I will say maybe regen is a little bit aggressive. I turned it all the way to 100, which is why the rear wheel is locking up, obviously. I'm barely pulling the handle, it's locking the brakes up. So maybe I turn that down so I can actually pull the lever and actually use the mechanical brake if I want to. I think that would actually improve stopping distance significantly if I turn regen down a little bit. That's probably why they had it at 50%. Just so, you know, when you get a full pull of the actual mechanical brakes, your wheel's not locking up on you. Yeah, anyway, dude, first impressions, it's just fun. E-scooters like this are just fun. They're not like the professional, super ultra fast ones, but this is definitely above like the consumer little scooters. It kind of gives you that safe to ride, like safe scooter vibe, but it also gives you a little bit more, which keeps it fun, you know? So yeah, overall, there you have it. Let's get this on a range test, see what we get. Oh, it's up my driveway. Hey, not bad. It actually pulls pretty good up that hill. It's not super steep, but it's definitely not steep. Well done. Fun scooter.
So I went ahead and immediately took it on the full range test to get that done. And let me just say, watching this footage is making me realize more and more, this is a freaking dual motor, 1500 watt e-scooter from a name brand for literally $600 right now. And in the rest of the video, I feel like I should have been way more excited about it, but this is insanely cheap for the performance I'm getting out of it. Anyway, as far as the actual scooter goes, it's very well powered with dual motors, 1500 watt combined, and has a good top speed, just over 20 miles per hour, which is a little bit faster than most e-scooters, especially in this freaking price range. There's like very few scooters that do over 16 or 18 miles per hour. It's a pretty comfortable ride, though it doesn't have suspension on it, but it feels really well made with no quality control issues. So for $600, I can't find anything really worth complaining about. It really is insane value. right, I just got back from the full range test. I charged it overnight, so that's why you'll see 100% battery on it, but we've ridden it one full charge. And this right now is kind of like the ending of the video where I give you all the final specs. We do a couple brake tests, a couple like final thoughts and whatnot. But Young Swag, if you want to bring them over here really quick, I have the app pulled up, the Inmotion app. So to track the kilometers, I guess you can change it to miles and stuff, but the app is actually pretty nice. It tells you, you know, just the basic stuff and the specs and the model number, support, all kinds of stuff in the app. So you guys can see we got a total of 39.2 kilometers. Let me run the calculation really quick. 39.2 kilometers to miles. 24.4 miles, but we did like a little up and down the street before the range test. So we'll just say 24 miles all said and done, which is really freaking good for a scooter. That's like e-bike kind of spec. They have like big old battery packs. I rarely get a scooter that does over 20 miles on one charge, and that's really rare. So 24 miles, dual motor, 1500 watt total is really, really not bad. That's what we got for a range. That's the Inmotion Climber top, you know, range. And that was full throttle, just on pretty flat surfaces. I did a couple hills here and there, but it was mostly all paved road. And that was literally just full throttle with cruise control on, just chilling on it as far as I could go. Let's get this thing on a real quick brake test for you guys, just to see the electronic brake and the cable driven brake. I think that's my only complaint for this. And this, I don't have many complaints on this because of the price. For the price for this thing, it's a cheaper e-scooter and you get dual motor with some decent torque on this thing. So if the cable driven brake is like the only complaint I have on it, that's really not bad. So, but it's, I mean, that being said, the brakes are not that bad. It has electronic braking, which is really nice. So let's give it a rip, see how it does. All right, brake test. So with cable-driven brakes, something I need to work on, if you actually pull it too hard and it locks up the wheel, you actually get less efficient braking. So I need to remember to get used to cable brakes again and kind of feather it a little bit, and I'll actually stop a lot faster. So let's do it one more time and see if I can get it a little faster. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, that's not bad. That's a lot better. But remember, if you're any kind of, you know, riding defensive at all, like you never really have to mash your brakes that hard when you're on an e-scooter. And that's, you know, the stopping distance isn't that bad. I think I might have actually turned the electronic braking all the way up. So I might have been locking up the rear wheel, which is probably why it, you know, stopped maybe a little slower than I expected. But that being said, it's adjustable. You can, you know, get used to it. Get more used to it than me, because I ride these things one full time. And so, you know, by that point I get to test the first like full impressions of it, get the actual real world specs. But by no means when I do these reviews, am I, you know, riding these things hundreds of miles. Take that as you will. That is the Inmotion Climber. Let's see if it'll climb this hill. Check this out. My driveway is actually pretty steep. It's probably a solid 15 degrees. And it kind of just pulls right up it. I started on the hill and you guys could see it. It was pretty decently torquey. So let's try it again. Full throttle. Pulls right up it. It may not look crazy on camera, but I can tell you it's a lot more torquey than other comparable scooters. Other comparable scooters barely will climb up this thing. I think that's pretty much all I need to tell you guys. You get the point. You now have the full specs. There's a link below if you guys want to check this scooter out. This is one I can actually highly recommend. There's a lot of scooters and e-bikes that I wouldn't heavily recommend, but this is actually what I'd check out if I were in the market myself personally. And I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching.